So today we're going to be looking at how to upload your powerful data into Facebook. And this is something that's probably one of the most simplest but most powerful things you can do on a regular basis with Facebook. And a lot of agents will ask me, how do you do it? What lists should we be uploading? Why we should be doing it? So I thought a training session on how to upload your data into Facebook was essential, and I think today you'll hopefully be able to take away how to do the process, but also what you should be doing, what you should be including in those lists that you're uploading. So let me just share my screen. Just got one slide just to keep us on track. I just wanted to make sure that we can all see that. So let me just share that for you. Bear with me 2 seconds. I think the gremlins are out on the internet today. Let me see if I can just find that for you. Bear with me 2 seconds. Let's have a look. There we go. Hopefully you can see that slide with no problems. So which list should I consider uploading to Facebook? And also, why should we be doing this? Well, first of all, it's very easy to upload data into Facebook. You need to initially export a CSV file from your CRM. So you're all probably using a lettings or sales CRM. You can probably, within a few clicks, actually export a CSV file of perhaps, some of these lists that we're going to go through. So you might need to have a conversation there. If you don't know how to do that, it's normally within a few clicks. You can do that on your CRM system, so your sales or letting software. You can export a CSV file of your audiences. Really important that we do this on a regular basis. And in front of you are some of the lists and audiences that you should be exporting as a CSV file from your CRM and uploading it to Facebook. Now, if you're lucky enough to be using something like Lifecycle, or perhaps you're using a CRM which has got something called an open API, you might be able to automate this. So one of the things Lifecycle will do is it will upload the audiences that you want into Facebook automatically, and then it will look after itself. So just going back what we said, so if you're lucky enough to be using an open API CRM, that might be another something for you to look into. Most of the older established CRMs aren't open, so you have to do this manually, which is really annoying. Some of the new CRMs, if you're lucky enough, might have an open API, which means that you can pretty much connect Facebook and your daily CRM that you're using to register people, and you can feed data from that CRM to Facebook and pretty much update audiences that you've created. But that's a conversation to check your end. Most of us are going to have to do it this way that I'm going to show you today, which is obviously the manual way. So what you need to do is you will need to export a CSV file. So CSV file, very similar to an Excel sheet. Each of your audiences you'll have to export. I recommend you do this something like once a week. If that's too often, once a fortnight. It only takes sort of 10-15 minutes to do this to pretty much update your audiences in Facebook. What will happen is Facebook will go and find those people. So you'll upload the CSV file. The CSV file, if you wonder what's got to be in that, minimum email addresses. So a column of email addresses of those people. And you will export that and import it into Facebook. If there's more columns in that CSV file, which is just like an Excel sheet, if you're wondering what a CSV file, don't worry about that. When it's imported into Facebook, as you'll see today, you can just say to Facebook, ignore those columns. So don't think you've got to sit there tidying this all up. As long as there's clear columns, name, email address, maybe phone number, postcode, if they're in there, great. But minimum email addresses, Facebook can go and find these people on Facebook and put them in an audience for you to use. And this is a really powerful way, because there's a number of audiences that if we can stay in front of on a regular basis, we're really going to benefit as agents. So on the slide in front of you, you can see some of the ones which I'm suggesting that you perhaps upload into Facebook on a weekly basis. So current vendors or landlords, especially valuations that you're chasing. So, think about this. You go and do a valuation. Some of them come on straight away. A lot of them come on a long time later, especially at the moment being near Christmas. A lot of them might come on in January. If you can show up week after week after week with your brand, your content, providing value, showing properties to those vendors who've had a valuation but not put their property on, that is really powerful, because obviously they're seeing your content, they're seeing your success, seeing you taking on properties, seeing you providing value in their news feed, where the other agents that were called out, obviously they're probably not going to see that at all. So really powerful way to stay top of mind during the decision-making phase. Someone said a valuation. It looks like you're doing a lot of business as well, but it's only those people on that list that are actually seeing the advert. Landlords, again, remaining top of mind with valuations that you've carried out, but also landlords obviously normally have more than one property. So if you can upload a list of all your current landlords and perhaps any other leads that you've got there, stay top of mind with those people as well. There's a good chance that when they need a letting agent, again, of course, you're top of mind, because to them, they're seeing you all the time and they think you're everywhere. But really, it's only those people on that list that are seeing your content. So landlords definitely are someone. I think also as agents, we really struggle with stay in touch policies overall. So this is a great way to really help you with that. You know, how many times do you get the chance to call all your past landlords, all your past sellers and buyers? It is difficult. So with Facebook, you can guarantee that they're going to see you and your brand every week if you're uploading these lists into Facebook as well. Current applicants looking, sales and lettings. That's another list that I would be exporting from my CRM system and making sure it's in Facebook. And the reason for that is because not everyone's seeing your emails, not everyone's getting your calls, not everyone's hearing about your properties. So if we can make sure that when they're online, we're hitting them as well. You're going to be hitting them, out of office hours, on a Sunday or in the evening with your properties. You're going to remind them what they've seen. So people, when they're searching for property, they'll go on loads of websites, but often they forget where they've been. So we can make sure our properties stay in front of them. And just make sure we're top of mind as well. Remember, emails have got a very low open rate as well. So if you're relying on emails to capture everyone that you haven't called, it's a low percentage. 20-30% of people might see your emails. Make sure the rest of them are seeing your latest properties or your full property list on Facebook on a regular basis. And that again is a very low hanging fruit option. Sphere of influence, look at your past buyers, your past sellers, past landlords and current clients. These are the people who are most likely to recommend and refer you on this. So when people actually look into their agency and look where most of their business comes from, it actually comes from people who recommend and refer. So you want to make sure you're staying top of mind, and that's you appearing in front of them on a regular basis, reminding them that you're there, showing them the properties that you're selling, taking on, so that when someone asks them, who do they recommend as an agent, you're top of mind because they've used your services, they continue to see what you're doing, and then obviously they're going to say, well, use John from wherever because he's always selling properties, he's on our timeline all the time, but also they sold our home. So stay top of mind as well. Some good questions. Is there a GDPR issue here if we're sharing email addresses with Facebook? So a couple of things on that. Obviously, with GDPR, you're going to have to take advice, professional advice on it anyway. But some things I can tell you is that look at your privacy policy. If these people are dealing with you, have you got a statement in your privacy policy about Facebook advertising and covering yourself that way? I think that's something that I would make sure you've got email in there. You've probably got text message in there. Facebook adverts is another one that you could put in there. Also, you can target any of these people just by dropping a pin. So, if you wanted to target these people anyway, you could. It's just a case that Facebook is finding them and providing you an audience. Facebook does protect all that data anyway, so you'll see through the process we go through, it does say that it will hash that data and protect it. And then the other things is people can opt out. They can click on the three dots and say, I don't want to see your adverts anymore. Very simple, in a few clicks, they can do that. And last of all, anyone who opts out of receiving your information, you should make sure that they're not obviously uploaded into Facebook. So that's something just to bear in mind on that. So I hope that helps you. I've never ever heard or had anyone have problems along those lines with the GDPR, but as I say, take advice on it. It's something which you might want to look at, but bear in mind, as I say, privacy policy and actually dealing with these people as well. Okay, so obviously sphere of influence, family and friends can even be included in that. They are people who will recommend and refer you. Just stay top of mind with these people, because we've got a lot of these people in our system, on our data, but we're not doing anything with that. We're not keeping in front of them or staying in touch. So let's say this is a great way to do that. So let's just remind you how you can upload this data into Facebook. So from your Facebook page, so obviously on a Facebook page, we need to get into Ads Manager. Just to remind you guys how to get into Ads Manager, the three dots up the right here, top corner. And then once we've hit the three dots there, the menu bar, we can then obviously hit Ads, which is halfway down. Some people, that will take you straight into Ads Manager. Some of you will get a little link at the bottom of the screen, a blue link that says go to Ads Manager. You might have to click on that, but three rows of dots, ads, and then into Ads Manager. And that's going to bring you into something that looks like this. Hopefully you can see all this. Hope there's no more bugs. In Ads Manager, what do we want to do? Well, first of all, before we go into uploading the data, we want to make sure we've exported it from our CRM system. We want to make sure that we've saved it on our desktop. Any audiences, so maybe you've got your valuations that you've recently done, maybe you've got your landlords, all your landlords, maybe you've got your recent applicants. I'm going to head over here to these three lines here. You can see on here 3 lines. This is your all tools menu. This is where all your tools are to actually create your audiences and anything else that you need to do. And we're going to head from here into audiences, this one here. So this is where we can create our audiences. So all tools, audiences, and that's going to take us where we can hit the create custom audience button. So you'll see it in a second. See that Facebook's a little bit slow today. Let me see if I can speed it up at all for you guys. Let's see if this will speed things up. You can see there, blue create audience. If you create any audiences before, they're going to show here, but we're going to hit this create audience button. And the one we're looking for is custom audience, this one here. Custom audience is where we can create an audience of data that we already have. A lot of the time you don't know you've got that data. It might be things that are going on, happening on Facebook, such as people showing interest in you, but also we can give Facebook data as well. So custom audience here. And you can see here, this is all the different audiences that we can create. And we have to create them before we use them. That's the rule on Facebook, is that often you have to create the audiences first, then you can use them in Ads Manager. So the one that we're going to use today is this one here, customer list. So we're just going to choose customer list and we're going to click next. And don't be confused by what you see now. This is just Facebook showing the format that it would like the CSV to be. So you don't need to pay too much attention to this. We're just going to hit the next button at the bottom, blue next button here. Really easy to do. And the first question you're going to get is, does your list include a column for customer value? Again, don't worry about that. If you had a list which said what everyone has ever spent through your business, that's an example of a customer value. We probably don't as agents. We probably just have their name, number, and email address, and maybe some details about what they're looking for. Some of you might have a list if they've been previous clients, but for most people we won't. So just say no to that. I'm going to click no, and then we're going to click next. Now this is Facebook asking you, where's your CSV file? So you'll do this one at a time, and we're going to click the upload button here. This upload button here. Really simple. It's going to open up your desktop or your downloads, whatever you're using. I'm just going to find a CSV file that I can use. I'm going to use this one here. So it's on my desktop. At the moment, it's got an awful name, so I might change the name on there just to something for me to remind me what it is first of all. So I'm going to say all landlords. And what I would do is I'll just put the date at the end. And the reason for that is because you then know when it next needs updating. So I'm suggesting in a week's time or fortnightly, you can just double check, that was the last time I uploaded that list. And I'm going to talk about the easiest way to update these at the end. It's a very simple way, but the date will help you. So put your date in there. So Caroline says, just trying to go through this with you on my account. I'm having the same issue with not being a business account. Yeah. So one of the things I should say is that with what we're doing now, you will need to have a business manager account. If you haven't got a business manager account, it will probably prompt you when you try and get to this part. Go for the process of just creating a business manager account. That's where Facebook will ask you a couple of questions, such as your name, your business. Once you've done that, give it a day, sort of 24 hours, and then you'll be able to do this. Just come back in, follow the process, and you'll be able to do it. Most accounts do now business manager accounts. If you haven't got one, just go through the process of literally just giving Facebook a bit more information about who you are. I'll just ask for your address, your name, and a couple of other questions, and then you'll be ready to go. Within about 24 hours, you'll be ready to go on that. So Caroline, I do have one, but it's what I'm not sure. It said, yeah, I think you're right, Caroline. I think the best thing to do is if you can jump on that Monday call for me, I'll go through your accounts and see what's connected with what. I think you might not have pulled in your ads manager account into the business manager account. So it's quite a simple thing that we can look at for you. So we'll give this a name, and as I say, don't worry, you'll definitely be able to do this, Caroline. We'll give this a name. We're going to put the date at the end, so all landlords and the date, just to help us remind us when we uploaded it. Going to click next, and this is a snapshot of Facebook saying, I've looked at your CSV file. Each of these columns is just a snapshot, so it's not all the data, it's just a snapshot of each column. And this is Facebook saying, is this email addresses? Is this country? Is this zip code? Is this phone number? So yours might look different depending what you've uploaded. But the key thing is just to cast your eye through, and you can see there that, yeah, that's email. Facebook's got that right. That's the country. Yeah. Zip code is obviously postcode, so you don't need to change that. That's fine. Yeah, that's phone number. So remember, this is just a snapshot. It's not the whole list. It's just Facebook saying, hey, here's a couple of things. Is this correct? So happy with that. But you see here, there's an action needed, 22. This is Facebook saying to you, hey, I've not managed to work out what these are. Can you tell me what it is? So I'm just going to click on that. And you can see that there's some things that we can use there. So for example, here, we've got first name. So I probably want to do full name. First name, I'm going to say first name, and then I'm going to say last name, and then I'll probably leave it as that. Now, some of you are probably thinking, well, what do I need? Minimum email addresses, okay? If you've got other data there, which you can map for Facebook, use it, because there's more of a chance of Facebook finding them. So the way it works is that when you sign up to Facebook, you pretty much tell Facebook. So that's another point for someone who raised about data. Facebook's already got this data. You know, some people always ask about, are we giving Facebook more data? Not really, because the data that we're providing, Facebook's got already. When you sign up to Facebook, you use email address, mobile number. I think you even put location in now. So what we're doing is we're giving Facebook data points to try and find that person. And I wouldn't give Facebook any more than that anyway. So email, first name, last name, postcode, mobile is probably the best that you can give Facebook. And then Facebook's got a higher chance of finding them, because if you can't find it by the email address, because perhaps they've changed it, it will then look for the mobile number, and then it'll just check that their first name and last name's correct. It's just going over data that it's already got. So minimum email address, but if you've got those other 3 or 4 data points, let Facebook have them. I'm going to click import and create at the bottom here. And there you can see upload in progress. It's really quick. It'll be a couple of seconds. There you go. 934 rows uploaded. So that's 934 people. At this point, I'm just going to say done. So Facebook has actually found those people. There it is, the list up the top here. Okay. I could use that straight away, but before we do use it, I'm just going to show you how you can create a lookalike audience in a few seconds as well. So this audience here is our list of people. So in this case, our landlords that are on our database in our office, and we could just show ads to them as one example. The other thing we can do, if I tick against this audience and I go up to these 3 dots here, I can create a lookalike audience, and that's a really powerful process. If you've, give you an example, if you've got a very big list of landlords and you want to try and find more new landlords in your town, we can say to Facebook, there you go, there's a list of our landlords, go and find me similar people. And the chances are is that Facebook will find you similar people. It will create something called a lookalike audience. It will match up thousands of data points. It will look at what they like, what they do, where they are, and then it will come back with very similar people, a bigger audience of similar people in your town. So I'm going to click create lookalike because that would be handy if I ever want to run any landlord adverts later on to try and find new landlords. So I'm going to click create lookalike. And there you go. It's going to say, right, I'm going to use this audience here because we ticked against it, which are our landlords. It's going to say, where do you want me to find people? At this stage, just put United Kingdom. You will be able to bring it down to your town when you use this in an advert. So don't worry about it being United Kingdom. And then it'll ask you, how similar do you want me to find them? 1% is the most similar. Up to 10% is going further away. Bigger audience back to you by Facebook, but they're going to be less similar. So they won't be as similar to your landlords. So keep it on 1%. We want to find people who are more likely landlords or got the same attributes, and 1% there. We're going to hit the create button here, and that's going to give us 2 audiences now. One which is just your landlords, this one here, and then this one which is lookalike. And we might use that lookalike one in a separate advert to try and find new landlords, where this one we're just going to stay in front of those people. Now, you'd go through the same process with your maybe 2 or 3 other lists, maybe your applicants, maybe your sellers. So you'd probably do this process 2 or 3 times. It's quite quick to do. I'm going to show you how to use these really quickly, and then I'm just going to talk about how you update these. So let's say we want to show our landlords, our latest landlord blog. We just want to keep in touch with them. Let's show you how to do that. So going to go back to Ads Manager. So we're talking about the main part of Ads Manager when you go in. And let's say we've got a blog, a landlord blog that we want to, it's on our Facebook page, and we want to just show it to our landlords. So I'm going to hit the green create button, and I don't want to go too much in depth how to set up the advert today, because it's more about the audiences, and there is training on how to send a blog article out to people. But let's just do the basics. So we're going to use traffic. We're going to show a blog article. We want people to click on the blog article and click on our advert and go to our blog article. So traffic is the option we would use for that, because Facebook will find people most likely to come off Facebook. Going to click continue. Okay, so that's brought us to campaign level. And campaign level, I'm just going to give this campaign a name. So I'll probably call this traffic campaign, which tells me what objective we're using, the audiences that we're targeting. So I might just put landlord lists. And then at the end, I'd probably name my blog article, whatever my blog article name was. I'll probably put that in there. Now, the only thing to remember here, if you are promoting an article that's talking a lot about housing, properties, it's probably going to need to come under special ad category here. So ads for property listings, home insurance, mortgage, or other related opportunities. So I'm going to put that in there just to make sure that we can comply. Remember, we are retargeting, so it's not too much of a problem there. The country here is United Kingdom. We'll bring that down when we get further through. So next thing we're doing, click the next button down the bottom. That's going to move us into ad set level. Remember, the ad set level is the audience. Remember, ad set audience, who we want to put the ad in front of. So again, I'm just going to remind myself here. I'm just going to put landlord lists, but I'm going to show you a couple of examples. I'm going to show you how to put this blog article in front of lists that we've uploaded, and then I'll show you how you can use a lookalike audience as well. So Facebook's going to ask you where you want to send people. We're going to say website. So you'd have your blog article on your website, and that is where you would send them to the article. So that's correct. Don't touch dynamic creative. When you get down to your budget, if you're getting back in front of lists that you're uploaded, you only need a small budget. A couple of £1 a day will be plenty if you're getting back in front of lists you've uploaded. They are warm people. Anyone you upload and you want to get back in front of are warm. So we might have a list of our landlords. We might have past landlord leads. They would be warm, and we only need a couple of £1 a day. Facebook rewards you for getting back in front of engaged data. So people that have shown interest in you, lower costs. And also it's quite a small ask. We're just asking for people to click and go to our blog article. We're not asking for name, numbers and email addresses here. So again, Facebook doesn't charge you as much. So in this first example, we're going to be sending our landlord article to the lists that we've uploaded. They might be all our landlords that we work with, or they might be CSV file past landlord leads we've generated. So budget £2, put start date in here. I'm just going to say today, and perhaps we'll run this for a couple of weeks being a blog article. So let's go to say the 1st of May. That's when it will end. Then coming down here, let's just show you. So if you remember, we uploaded the list into Facebook. This is where you're going to find it. Custom audiences. Anything you upload into Facebook will be found here. So not further down where you normally find all the sort of the targeting options, you know, who you can you know, put interests in and things like that. This is where you're going to find it. Now I'm going to click on edit here, just open things up, because then it'll show a bit more and you'll get a better idea. So our custom audience has dropped down here. And first thing I'm just going to say, where it says locations, we want to put people living or recent in this location. Just change that to people living in this location. Leave this as United Kingdom and leave this age bracket, because of course we're in the special ad category as well, so we have to leave that as it is. Now, custom audiences, if I just click on there, you're going to see all my custom audiences that I've got. And I'm just going to put a couple of landlord lists in there. So that's the landlord list that I've uploaded, CSV, and then I can find another one and put landlords in there. There we go. We'll go with this landlord list as well. So I might have two landlord lists, CSVs that's sitting on my desktop like Excel sheets. I've just selected two of them. You can select as many as you want. Remember, these are warm people. And the way this is going to work, if I moved on now to setting up my advert, just carrying on, these will show, the advert will show just to these people, anyone in these lists. This area here is telling Facebook, only show my advert to these people in these lists. That's why we don't need to worry about the age or the location. We put the United Kingdom in just to bring it down a little bit. But as long as they're in these lists, we want our advert to show. So they could be working away, they could live further afield, but they will get to see the advert. We don't put any interests in. So like when you go and find a cold landlord and you use Facebook's interests, there, you know, this is the thing that's telling Facebook, show my adverts to anyone in these lists. You would just continue on and set up your advert, and you would leave this on automatic placements, and landing page views would be the option if you're sending someone to a blog article for optimization. So that's the first thing to note. If you want to show your ads just to people in those lists, what you must note is don't go and mix this up with trying to then show your advert to people who've got interests in buy to let, in landlords, in lettings, and you go and put all the interests in as well. This has to be separate. This is its own ad set. Now, let's show you if I wanted to use a lookalike audience. How do we do that? Well, with a special ad category now in place, it's a little bit different. We can find that lookalike audience we created earlier by typing in here. But if you're using a special ad category, you need to click the Create New here. Special ad audience, that is an actual lookalike audience. It's just another term. If you're using a special ad category, you will see it's a special ad audience. I'm going to click on that, and you can see it's a select source. I can find my landlord list that I've uploaded. So we'll say landlord list. Let's find, there we go, all landlords, this one here. And I can quickly create my lookalike audience. I'm going to put United Kingdom in here. And then down here, I can select my percentage size. Now, remember, the further we go along, the bigger the new audience Facebook will give back. But the further down this way, the smaller the audience it gives back, but they're more similar. So I'd always suggest starting 1%, then you could test you know, anything up to 5%. So sometimes we test 2, 3, and 5, but most cases 1%. Going to click Create Audience. And what you're going to see is that Facebook will drop your special ad audience, and that is a lookalike audience of your list that you've already uploaded. And that will allow you to comply with the special ad category by creating a special ad audience, which is a lookalike audience in the special ad category. That is similar people to your list. Now, sometimes you get this message come out, it's too specific. That is just because it's finding people, it's still optimizing and going through all your data. The other thing you need to do here is you will need to put a location in for your special ad audience, and I'm just going to remove United Kingdom here. Remember, we didn't put one in for the lists that we uploaded, and I'm just going to put in, I'll put our location in here. So I'm just going to put Sidcup, and we're going to leave that as a 15k radius. That's the minimum you can do on a special ad category, and sometimes you get a little bug. You have to change that to 16 just to make Facebook happy. So the way this will work now is that just to move that, it doesn't like my quick click. There we go. It's all right now. The way to work now is that this special ad category, everyone in it who lives in this blue radius will see the advert. We don't need to change anything on age range or interests. The location we'll put 15k in just because we know our landlords tend to live driving distance to their investment. That might be bigger for you, but for most of us, 10 miles or around that sort of region is perfect. Don't worry about the age. With the lookalike audience, Facebook will match up thousands of data points and it will look at the ages. So that's why it does work well. And if you want to, you can add more than one lookalike in here, but I would always start with one and see how you get on. Start with 1% if it's landlords, and you're lucky enough to have a big list of landlords, then obviously create a lookalike audience of your landlords. Then you would move on, and this would be a separate advert to anything else as well. If you wanted to, you could drop your custom audience lists of landlords in that we created first of all, but I would keep them separate, and then you're guaranteed that those people will see your blog article. And really, this special ad audience here should be seen as cold people. Even though it's a lookalike audience of your current landlords, this is a cold audience to get us in front of new people, brand new landlords, where the other lists we uploaded are to get back in front of people who know us already. So once we've done that, we would click next, and that would take us through to ad level, and then you could go ahead and create your advert. Yeah, so make sure you're aware of what we've done there. Obviously, with the upload of the lists and just showing ads to them, that's getting back in front of people. And then the lookalike audience is getting in front of new people. And probably the most times we use a lookalike audience is when we're trying to find landlords. If you're lucky enough to have a big landlord portfolio, or you've got lots of landlords on your books, then that is a really powerful way to find new landlords. And that's probably where we do use it the most. If you wanted to know about how to actually update your lists, the easiest way to update your lists is just to delete the old list and export all live landlords again and import it. That way, anyone who's been removed from your CRM system are then going to not go into Facebook, and the old ones chucked out. So that's the easiest way to do it. You can add and remove people on a custom audience in Facebook. It gets a bit messy. The simplest thing that we found to do, if you're having to do it manually, is just when you get to that time of the week where you need to update your lists, just go in, delete the old one, export from your CRM, Dupix, Repit, whatever you're using, live applicants, live valuations, live landlords, and upload it again. It's the easiest thing to do to not get into a mess there on that. So let's just see if there's any questions